Hey there guys, this is Piper here and welcome to another Total War video. So in this video we're going to be playing through one of the campaigns in the 3rd Age Total War mod for Medieval Total War 2. And I've always been a fan of the Elves in Lord of the Rings. So there's actually two different factions for Elves in 3rd Age. There's the High Elves, which are like Elrond. They're based in the northern eastern or northern western area of the map, or you can go for the Sylvan Elves, and these are like the Mirkwood Elves, Legolas, that kind of sector, based in the central area of the map. So there's loads of different factions. You can go Gondor, Rohan, Dale, Dwarves. You've also got all the dark factions like Orcs and Mordor, but we're going to play the High Elves today. So we're going to get this started without further ado. Let's get it set to very difficult as well. No battle limit. So we want a battle limit in case a glitch happens in a siege, so we'll keep that unticked. And let's start this fast. So we'll watch this intro to the epic campaign. So that was the epic intro to the High Elves campaign for the 3rd Age. So that's really well done. Whoever made that intro, they spent a lot of time on that. That was pretty amazing. And this is going to load up. You tend to find that on loading screens in 3rd Age, you always get a really cool picture from the film, and you get, instead of like a Roman Total War quote or a general quote, it'll be a quote from the actual Lord of the Rings. So that's from our King Brad, Lord of Westford, Helm's Deep. So welcome to Middle Earth. That's the Middle Earth map. Again, the amount of detail that's gone into this mod by the creators, pretty extraordinary. I'm actually explaining about the council and everything else. So let's get this started off. So we've got one settlement there, that's meant to be Rivendell. So in the intro you saw the infantry walking out of the settlement. There's actually that settlement there. We've got other settlements to the left hand side. We've got Mithlond. I think that's Elosterion, Harlond and Forlond. So the first thing, because we're playing it very hard, I played a bit of this campaign previously, a couple of days ago, and you get a lot of tax and corruption in your main capital. That's the capital there, that's Imladris, aka Rivendell. So we're going to swap the capital over to Mithlond. So we'll go into the settlement data, switch capital to the settlement, click there, you see it of power, and that's just saying we've moved the capital to Mithlond. So that's going to help us in many different ways. We've got more settlements here. Having the capital there means that they get extra trade benefits and extra morale, and the public are much happier. We've got to be careful over here though, because we're quite close to the Orcs of the Misty Mountains. They're over here, We've got Isengard further down south. And there's also Mordor. That's Mordor, isn't it? Yeah, that's Mordor. That's Mount Doom right there. So we want to make sure Rivendell's properly manned, because Rivendell is going to get attacked. They'll come down here. They'll come over here as well. And you really need this settlement, because if Rivendell falls, it's a large settlement. It's pretty hard to sort of build troops if you lose Rivendell. So we're going to quickly build a couple of troops at the start. We've got 2,000 gold coins left. We are going to start increasing the economy in these settlements. So what can we build? I want to build roads if possible at the start, paved roads. That's 3,500, can't afford that. What else can we build? So we can build dirt roads there, that's probably the best thing to build. You want to build dirt roads at the start. We've got a ship here, the ship's costing us 150 per turn. And you do get a couple of council missions whereby there's a couple of, I think it's Isengard that actually owns them. A couple of ports down here you get asked to blockade. But you're not really going to use it that much. So right now I'm going to disband that ship because it's costing a bit of money and not really going to be using that often. So we've got some extra troops in these settlements. We've got 2 there, we've got 3 there. So we don't actually get attacked by Isengard till later on. So we don't need to keep too many units in the settlements. We've got our dwarves, or soon to be allies of dwarves up north. And the free people of Iradior, they're based in the centre, so the Shire is actually here. So all we really got to worry about is Isengard to the south, Orcs and Misty Mountains, and there's another faction called the Orcs of the, I think it's Grandabad. They're actually based up here, they're a really powerful faction. But like all Total War games, we need to be very aggressive from the start, especially playing on very hard. So let's start moving our troops around. So we're going to form an army down here, and we're going to start attacking the left hand part of the battle map. We're also going to start creating an army over here as well. We're going to build 2 more troops here. And then we'll have more men and we'll start attacking some settlements over here. So let's get back over here. We've got Linden Longspear. So they're fairly good on attack and defense. They've got a lot of defense skill. They're no shield, not the best armor, but they'll still be pretty good in a siege on the offense. Got some troops up here as well. We've got the Nocturnal Warriors. These guys are elite archers. So they're about 240 per turn. Don't need to keep them in the settlement. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pull round our archers. Put them into that settlement there, or down here. Might even put them all down here. Is that going to rout that city? Or Silver Revolt? So they're still pretty happy. They've got Ceradan, he's the governor of the settlement. He's also got the Palantiri authorization. And I have not actually worked out how to use this. It's, if you ever watch the films for Lord of the Rings, remember the bit when one of the hobbits picks up the ball? I think that belongs to Sauron. Or Saruman. The guy who is in charge of Isengard. So there's that ball there. There's a way of using that. I haven't worked out yet. I'm sure I'll work it out quite soon. But apparently you can actually see into the future if you use that ball correctly. And let's just move around everything actually. I might as well just be really aggressive from the start. Got our spy here. I think we're gonna... We've got the dwarves to the north. The orcs of Grandabad to the northwest. So I think we're going to send the spy down to some of the settlements down here. And we've got another archer right there. So that settlement there is actually quite close to the border, and Isengard, their first settlement is actually over here. And the actual main Isengard settlement, I think it's called Isengard, yeah. The main Isengard city is actually right there. So they're quite close to my borders. And they do actually venture up to attack every so often. So it's important to keep that city fairly well defended. But we're at the start of the campaign, no one's going to attack us. Let's just use the troops that we have and try and take a few settlements. So we've got 520 denarii left, or gold coins left rather. We're not playing Rome Total War anymore. We can't really build anything, so I think that's probably going to be end of turn 1. Here. L right here. So we're going to end the turn here. We've moved the capital. Can't do anything else now, so we're going to end turn and see what the next stage brings. So that just cycles through all the different factions. We've got Orcs of the Gundabad, rather. Rune, Harad. The factions of Rune and Harad are actually based on the eastern side. And that's the Palantir I was talking about before. So it says you can transfer it between generals. Only the one holding it may use a Palantir. So I haven't totally worked out how to use this. But it'll be some way to maybe see further into the darkness, possibly. That might be one of the traits. So as I was saying before, if you watch the epic battle in the third Lord of the Rings film, you see the big elephants. The faction called Harad, which is based over here, you can actually recruit those units. They're meant to be like an eastern faction that's controlled by Mordor. So we've got 3,000 gold coins. We're moving our troops down here. We're going to move our spy over here. We want to capture some of the settlements. And we really need to get some sort of diplomat. We want to make some trade alliances, some agreements with the dwarves and the free people of Eradir. I think I might actually be already allied with them. Enemies, Orcs of Misty Mountains, bandits. So we're actually already allied with the free peoples of Eradir. But we want to make alliances with Rohan, all the good factions in the game like dwarves. So Sylvan Elves. The Sylvan Elves are based over here in the forests of Mirkwood. So we should have a couple of units in Rivendell. So one thing about the Elves, it takes them longer to recruit units. These units, you look at the sword Quendi, they've got 10 on the attack, 14 defense. That's one of the best stats of infantry in the game, actually. Talking about elite as well, and they're the bog standard units for the Elves. So for the price they're really good, but they take ages to recruit. The Elves don't have that many population, so where it usually takes maybe a faction 1 turn to recruit, it takes the Elves 2 turns. Move these guys down. So I can recruit more units, which I'm going to do here. And let's build something else. Green exchange. Let's go for the Green exchange and Harland. Building the nodes there. So I want to build the actual paved roads for Rivendell. It's going to cost about 3,500. Don't have quite enough just yet. But once we start taking settlements and building markets and whatnot, we're going to have more money coming in. So we're still on like turn 2. Still fairly early in this campaign. Build a leather tanner in Mythlond. I suppose I could do that. I'm going to have to fight a lot of battles down here. So let's get these guys joined up. And it's going to take 2 turns to build that. So I think we're going to move these guys down. I think if we can capture a settlement... Right, I'm going to move that army down. I'm going to form up this army here, move these guys down. If there's any settlements in this area that don't have too many defenders, try and capture them. If there's one that has a lot of defenders, I'll merge both armies and capture. I know there's definitely one down here. I can see a lot of resources and there's a river there. There's probably one round about here. I can't remember if there was one. But that's what we need to do. We need to be very aggressive from the start and try and capture as much territory as possible. Because like all of the Total War games, there's pre-programmed events that happen. Like there's Osilioth, or I don't know how you pronounce that name, but anyway, there's a massive invasion on that settlement and stuff like that happens, and the orcs of the Gundabad do a massive attack down here. And you can also actually find the ring as well. That gives you extra powers, I believe. But we're going to build that Boquendi. Once we build that, we're going to go out and try and capture a settlement. I'm going to build more troops there. Can we build anything here? Okay, we're going to build the Boquendi. And we're going to build a diplomat as well. And we're going to make friends with the dwarves. Get that trade alliance. And then hopefully we'll have more money coming in, because the dwarves are actually quite close to our settlements, especially this area. This whole mountain area is owned by the dwarves, all the settlements up here. So we'll do that and we'll hopefully get more money to come in, because right now we've only got 1,000 gold coins. Okay, we're going to build a leather tanner in Rivendell. And then we're probably going to... Well, that's actually Mithlond. Okay, we'll build it anyway, we probably need it, so end the turn on turn 2. 2 armies forming up here, and hopefully we'll join them up and attack. So we're going to end turn 2, see what the next turn brings. So again, this is cycling through all the different factions, and still quite a lot of fog of war, there's still a lot of that darkness in the map area. So we're not actually seeing too much of what's going on, but rest be assured, there's a lot of stuff happening over in Mordor. Gondor actually gets quite a hard time at the start of the Third Age campaign. A lot of players say, I'm actually playing on the 3.2 patch, and a lot of players say that the Gondor campaign is the hardest because everyone attacks Gondor at the start. And if you just look at Gondor is like based down here. Mordor is right there. So that's that army formed up. We're going to start moving these guys down. Okay, and I've got some troops getting built up there as well. There's an archer unit getting built here. Let's move these guys down. Hopefully they'll join up on the next turn. Got 2,500 to spend. Land clearances. Town watch. Okay, we're gonna build. What can we build? I'm trying to think what's the best thing to build here. Okay, let's go back to Rivendell. Artist studio, communal farming, stables, blacksmith. Okay, we're gonna go for the blacksmith. I know that's probably maybe a bad move to make quite early on, but I know for definite we need a blacksmith in this area because Rivendell, you're going to be producing a lot of troops here. You're going to be producing, in theory, you want your best troops to be built here. So whether or not the blacksmith this early on in the campaign is a good idea, we definitely need it for later on in the campaign. So we're going to build the blacksmith. We've got 1,000 left. Let's move this guy down. Recruitment. Should have our diplomat, hopefully. So that's the diplomat there. He'll get built on the next turn, hopefully. And And Forlorn. Okay, land clearance. So again, probably going to end it right there. We've got both armies coming down. I don't really see much else we can actually do. We've only got 1,000. We've got our 4 units there. Actually, we're going to move these units out. See if we can capture a settlement early in the campaign. I know there's one over here across the river. So we've only got 4 units here, and this is one of the features of the High Elves campaign, because the High Elves they're effectively very good warriors, but you don't get that many recruitment opportunities. It takes the High Elves a long time to recruit. So you tend to find most of your battles are small skirmishes, you're managing small units, you're fighting larger forces. And that's one of the natures of the High Elves campaign. So right here, this is a new mission from the council. We've got to reinforce Elostirian by 4 units and we receive 500 gold. So I'd probably be doing that anyway. But obviously right now, we want to capture a couple of settlements. So let's move the army down. And there's a settlement right there. It's a rebel village, peasants at war. Peasant axemen, huntsman, hunter. So that's our spy, getting the intelligence. We've got attack of 5, defense of 6. So the sword Quendi will absolutely destroy those guys, and that's the best unit. The huntsman, again, not really a patch on my archers. So that should be an easy settlement to capture. We'll send in the spy as well, see if we can capture the settlement gate. And we're going to see a cool cutscene of the spy trying to get into the city. So using the bush, has he been spotted? Good job, he's in the city. So it looks like he's actually got in the city. Sometimes he can still get caught. So he's actually got in, and possibility he might open the gates when we attack on the next turn. Or the next 2 turns. It's going to take, what, 1 turn to get there. The next turn. So we've got our other army coming down here. We should have a Boquendi recruited. Combine these guys, and the combination of the Linden long spears, they're fairly good actually. Provided we protect these guys from archers, from arrow fire, they should be pretty deadly in combat. So 5 units here, let's move these guys down. Got about 2,000 gold coins. And I might be wrong, but I think we're actually losing money per turn. We've got so many troops now. We don't have as much money coming in anymore, that we need to capture a settlement pretty fast. And also some of your settlements have barracks and you get free upkeep. So see in the Boquendi, it says free upkeep while garrisoned. So if we move troops out of the city, for example, Rivendell, you can actually hold 4 units free of charge. It's going to cost you more when you're on campaign. So we're going to capture that rebel village right there. A couple more units than the other one. There's peasant archers there. They're 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to have to really use the archers to actually win this battle. Hopefully we don't get attacked by anything else. If we do, we might have to actually withdraw because these units aren't full strength. See if I can recruit anyone else. So we're going to have to, probably when we can, recruit more troops from Rivendell. Time to recruit 2 turns. Turns to next availability 4. So we're going to have to wait 4 turns before we can recruit more from Rivendell. Got our army coming down here. This is our next army coming down here. Any settlements down here which aren't properly defended, we're going to hopefully attack, take the settlements. We've got 2,000 gold coins. We can actually build some more things. Roads getting built there. So that's taken ages to build, the dirt roads, but the dirt roads are actually one of the best things you can actually build in any Total War game. It's a sword queen coming down. It's the capital of Mythland. So what I might actually just put troops into Elstadian, and then we can get the 500 gold coins. Because I'm going to be moving down troops anyway into this area. That army needs to get reinforced, so we might as well put the troops into the settlement, get the money for the mission, and then move down. So we've got a bit of extra gold coins, we might as well spend them. So we're going to build communal farming in Imlandris. So I don't know the exact mechanics of 3rd Age Total War, but probably a bigger population could probably recruit more troops faster. So we're going to build we're already building the blacksmith, we're going to build the communal farming, and then hopefully we can get more troop production in Rivendell. And that's probably going to be the end of this turn. I don't really feel there's much more I can do. It's going to take 2 turns to get down here, and they're going to be probably about 3 or 4 turns to get over here. So let's end this turn. Again, we're quite early in the campaign. You don't really experience many attacks. I mean, we're playing on very hard. So unless we overexpand too much at the start, it's quite fairly straightforward what you do with the High Elves. It's not really that difficult. It's only later on when Isengard starts attacking, and Isengard has really good infantry. You've got the Uruk-hai warriors. They're the guys with the white hands and the shields. They're fairly strong, and so there's some very large orc armies that are roaming about, and fair enough, the High Elves are really good on the stats, but again, if you get outflanked, it's going to be pretty hard to actually come back. And one of the things playing for the High Elves, you've actually got to victory conditions. We've got to hold 25 regions, including Imlandris, Mythland, Forland, Harland, and these settlements. And we've got to eliminate factions, Mordor and Orcs of the Misty Mountains. So it's quite a lot to actually achieve there. The Orcs of the Misty Mountains, if you go to this area here, you'll actually have to go into Moria, or if that's how you pronounce it, Moria. It's the ancient dwarf settlement that the Orcs took over, and you have to fight Balrogs. And if you ever play 3rd Age online, there's some elite units like Balrogs and Trolls and Sauron and Saruman, and a lot of these units are elite, but they're very overpowered, and Balrogs are very hard to kill. I can remember the first campaign that I actually played, just for a test I went up to Moria, and I had almost like a 3/4 stacked army to fight the Balrogs, and they got annihilated. So I don't know how I'm going to do this with the Misty Mountains. I'm going to try and capture some settlements first, have an economy base, and then I'll go into the caves, because the dragon, or the dragons rather, are very hard to kill. Almost impossible actually. So this settlement, Horwell Village, doesn't have any walls. So we're going to try and attack the village, being held by Captain Selafarn. Check out his army. 2 peasant spearmen. They're not too bad actually on the stats. Peasant axemen. Got 2 peasant archers and 1 huntsman. So the huntsmen appear to be pretty good actually. They're fairly cheap, good on defense, not going to attack. They have a missile attack though, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for the peasant axemen at the start, or the archers. Try and get the kill on the general, because once the general dies, it's a peasant army. I don't really think it's going to last. The army will last too long for the general. Plus I have the Noratino archers, and they're actually long range. So even though the peasant archers saying long range, will have a slight advantage. So we'll try and get the kills at the start against the enemy using the archers, and then we've got the sword Quendi. Let's check out what's the best way to attack. Probably over here, to be honest. These guys over, start battle. Okay, let's move over the archers. I'm going to keep these guys in loose formation actually. I probably don't have to, because I know that I definitely have the range advantage with the no Returnal Warriors, but I probably don't have the advantage with the Boquendi. So I'm going to get everything in loose formation just in case he comes out to attack. Let's get it on triple speed. And we'll try and get some kills on these guys. So again, even though I do have the massive advantage with the quality of troops, I'm actually outnumbered about 6 to 4 roughly. So I'm going to send in first the no Returnal Warriors. And these guys have pretty good stats on melee as well. Send them over here. Get a better shot in. There's a big building right there. So they're not actually firing, so they're not within range of the no Returnal Warriors. Okay, let's put these guys back into tight formation. And obviously we're playing on timed, so we don't have unlimited time, but we get plenty of time to make sure we get the right angle in. Okay, let's go for the Peasant Axemen. So if I can get the shots in against the Peasant Axemen before getting shot by the archers. Because that's the general. The general is right there. Again, want to make sure we kill the general. So he suffered a bit of damage there. He's down to 61. For some reason he's on flaming arrows. So get these guys with flaming arrows. Oh, cause it's a night battle. And he's going to charge out the spearmen. So we're going to get these guys into tight formation. The AI usually just keeps the archers in the center. That's the huntsman, or the archers right there. He's going to charge out the peasant spearmen. So we're going to keep our distance. And the archers are actually firing back. That's a good volley in against the spearmen. Let's triple speed this. Again, just want to get as many kills as we can against the enemy. And are they routing? Yeah, they're routing. So we're going to get some really good shots at the rear there. And that'll be the... Where's the Axemen? So that's the Axemen right there. Suffered a bit of damage. I think they started off on 61. Okay, let's move over the archers again. So provided we don't get shot back, we can actually keep these guys in tight formation, which means they get extra shots in. And nobody's firing any arrows back. And he's moving out his second unit of peasant spearmen. And again, the AI is just so dumb. We'll just do the exact same as before. Keep it on triple speed. And they're going to get absolutely destroyed at the backs there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put these guys into loose formation, and we're going to suffer a bit of damage from the peasant archers, but we're going to go for shots in against the peasant axemen. Because that's where the general is, that is where he's going to have the main attacking melee force of the army. So we're going to, the Nortino warriors, they're actually within range of the peasant axemen. I thought he was going to run his peasant axemen out there. Yeah, he's going to run his peasant axemen out. This is exactly what we want to happen. So we're going to get everything to attack the peasant axemen, because that's his best unit, or his best melee unit. Plus the general is amongst this unit as well. So absolutely destroying this peasant axemen. And that's the enemy general just died. So we're going to keep on firing the arrows, try and get as many kills. That's the peasant axemen. Try and get some more rear shots in there. But there's still a unit of huntsmen and a unit of peasant archers. We're going to get a couple of good volleys in against the peasant archers now. We've done a lot of damage to the axemen. Killed the general. You've still got probably like about 35% of the arrows left. We're going to rain down some death upon these archers and some of the huntsmen. Because they're only peasant archers, they don't have the range of the elven bows. And we'll just do this, triple speed it. So they are actually firing arrows back now. Let's get these guys back. Don't want to suffer too much damage. I mean, I think the battle's pretty much won right now. But again, this is a campaign. Don't want to waste any troops, because we'll probably need them later on. And let's just try and get some good shots in with the arrows. So again, that's pretty much all the ammunition used up. As you can see, we're actually miles ahead. We've killed 71% of the enemy force. Get these guys into tight formation. And all we've got to do now is attack. And not really much more we can do here, just have to attack. Gonna get our bow quendy to attack in the centre. We're gonna pull around our sword quendy. And let's attack the peasant archers who are firing the arrows. So they are doing a bit of damage to my archers, but once they get into combat with the sword quendy, and these guys are professional troops. These guys are really good melee attack. They're attacking peasant archers. So it won't be long before the army actually crumbles and we'll gain control of the settlement. So we're going to send everything to attack, and it should be pretty much game over pretty soon. You can see the timer there's actually ticking down. That was a clear victory for our side. We lost about 40 troops or so, 41 troops. We killed about 360 enemy troops. So that's good for our campaign. We haven't lost too many troops. You're going to have to fight a lot of battles later on against orc armies and against Isengard. Mordor does attack as well. So again, just like any Total War campaign, if you're playing it very hard, don't waste your troops at the start. Make the best of them, because it makes your life easier later on. Again, we're going to have to exterminate the populace. Not really much more we can do except from that, because you don't really have the elves are only 30% in the city. Followers of Melkor, which are like Mordor, the evil factions, they're 23%, and we've got 36% Northmen. So let's build Town Watch. The Town Watch will actually help with the public order. We get extra 5%. It allows us to recruit Sword Quendi as well. So that's going to be pretty helpful to have. So left hand side, we're going to move. So that army's actually already moved on that turn. Where's the other army? It's already moved as well. We've got 2,000 gold coins. There's probably not much more we can actually build. Town Watch or communal farming. Okay, let's go for Town Watch. Have you got any more troops? So we need to actually build some more troops in Rivendell, because we can't build them right now. We've got to wait 2 more turns. But the Orcs of the Misty Mountains, they actually do come down and attack. So Elrond, his actual general unit is actually really good. He's actually one of the... If you ever watch the first Lord of the Rings, the Battle of Dagorlad, he's actually got really good armour, and he can actually hold his own for a very long time, but he's only 1 troop. So we need at least maybe like 3 or 4 units in the settlement just to make sure that if they do get attacked, we can actually hold out Rivendell, because if Rivendell falls, it's really hard on your economy. So we've got Mithlond, we've got, put that settlement in there. I think that's really all we can do for this turn actually. So we're going to end the turn here. We've captured that settlement. We're going to capture another 2 settlements hopefully fairly soon. Again, I know there's a settlement on the coastal area on the western side. So that's our spy just been kicked out. Probably outstayed his welcome, and so they're actually within the turn. They're within the range to actually attack that settlement. And because we've seen in the spy before, we know that they don't really have very good troops. So we're going to assault straight away. And this should be actually easier than the previous battle, because he's only got 2 units there, 1 peasant axeman, 2 hunters. Though these hunters probably have greater range than the peasant archers. So again, just like before, being really aggressive from the start, we're going to go straight in and attack. I mean, we could actually siege it and make him attack us, but that usually costs maybe like another 3 or 4 turns. And every single turn that your armies are in the field costs you money. So you want to make sure you're attacking the settlements as fast as you can. Obviously, if you're going to suffer a lot of casualties, don't attack the settlement. But for example, these sort of settlements, or these sort of battles where you know you have the clear advantage, you're far better to attack straight away and actually capture the settlement than wait for the siege to end. So almost the same as before, we're going to keep our archers at the front, keep our bow quendi at the back, and we're going to try and get as much damage as we can to the enemy, and then we'll attack with the sword quendi. So again, I really like this. I really like Third Age Total War mod. All the settlements are done really well. The detail on these units, absolutely amazing. Very well done to whoever actually helped create this mod, because it would have taken them a long time. I'm talking years of patience, years of detailed work on the programming. So if you haven't already played Third Age Total War, definitely give it a go. It's a really epic mod. And we're going to move... Again, I think the hunters have an equal range to my archers. They don't actually, so we're going to have the range advantage. And hopefully he does the same as before. Hopefully he charges out his spearmen like before, and he'll get shot to pieces. Put these guys into tight formation. And that peasant axeman unit, they're going to get absolutely destroyed. Getting shot in the back there. We're going to put it at triple speed. I think the battle's pretty much in the bag already. And that's the general right there. So we're going to try and get a kill on the general. He's been shot about 5 times. There's only the general left. He must be the luckiest man alive. So that's the general died. They could have probably used the arrows a bit better there. But we're making sure the general's going to die. Because once he's dead, the morale of the enemy army just plummets. Still got quite a lot of arrows left. We're going to shoot the Nocturnal Warriors, get them to fire the arrows first. They have the range advantage over the hunters, definitely. A lot of the archers are actually long range in this game, but Nocturnal are actually elite archers. So they'll always have the range advantage or be equal to the best of the enemies. So they've fired their arrows. We're going to move forward our Boquendi. I don't think they're actually being fired upon. So they'll have the clear range advantage over the enemy. And I just want to make sure we're doing as much damage as we can. Keep it on triple speed. Let's get them firing all the arrows, and then we'll just do the same as before. We're going to send in everything and attack. So again, that's the enemy force virtually wiped out already. They've got 25 huntsmen left. And they've got a couple of hunters left. So I'm going to send in everything now. They've only got a couple of archers left. We can just forget the archer war and let's just attack and win the battle. And that should be game over. That's the win for us there. That's the settlement captured. Again, we didn't really lose too many troops. You could have probably done a bit better at the end. We only lost 20 troops. We only lost about 15 troops actually. We killed about 200 enemy, 220 enemy. And they're only bandits, so it's not like we're actually killing orcs, actually helping the campaign. But as long as you don't lose too many troops at the start, it makes your life so much easier later on. And that should be the settlement of Alimir captured. So again, we're going to have to exterminate the populace. When you play on very hard, it's really important to make sure you give yourself the best advantage. Because like the other settlements, I've only got 23% culture. One of the things in Third Age Total War, they actually have culture as the Lord of the Rings faction. So if you're playing as elves, you have 23% culture. It adds to the public order. I'll only get 23%, so I need to really exterminate the population, and that'll give you a bit of an edge when you try and repopulate to get you the edge on the culture. So that's the key river that runs along. Actually, where's the? So actually, that's the main river there that runs along. That basically separates Isengard from the Elven factions and the dwarves. You can actually sail ships up that river, and it heads all the way up to Rivendell or Imlandris. So we're on turn number 6. We're going to send more troops into Elostirion. Don't really have too much money though. We've only got 325, and that's really because we're fielding so many armies. But we've captured a settlement there. Can't really build anything though. And we're going to send out the spy to scout down here, I think. So there's a settlement there. We're going to send in the spy to that settlement. Hopefully the spy gets there. And then that army will get down here and we can attack the settlement and capture it, hopefully. So I'm going to end the turn there. I think there's not really much more I can do. Don't really have that much money. And we've built everything that we can. But hopefully in the next turn, having that extra settlement will actually have more income on the next turn. We should probably recruit a couple of units into Rivendell just in case there's a surprise attack. Having a couple of extra units when you get attacked on the surprise, very, very beneficial to have. So we've recruited one into Rivendell. We're going to send the spy into that settlement. So another cutscene, can the spy get into the castle? So before he used the bush, now he's going to use the cart. Shit, he's going to get stopped. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh damn. So that's my spy dead. So that didn't go too well. But we're still going to attack. So we get 5 units. Don't really know if we've got enough here to actually win, because I've got no idea how strong these units are. He's probably fairly good, he's got 5 stars. Don't think we've got enough to win here. Unless we move some troops around. So if I give him the no Eternal Warriors, that would be 6 to 7. But those archers look pretty good. They're 1 Chev. Okay, I think I'm still going to attack because the elves, they're going to have better stats. So we're going to combine both forces there and then attack, or even kind of move another troop over. Yeah, so we're going to give him 2 units. And how long for this mission? We got 2 turns, right? We're not going to complete this level, or complete this mission. Because even if we build one here, that's going to take... one turn. So would that be like 4 units? So if you build him, that hopefully would be 4 units. And then we'll get the 500 gold coins from the council. Combine those both units there. I'm a bit worried about this settlement because I do know that there is an orc settlement around about here somewhere and they will be attacked. But again, I don't really feel I got enough here to win that battle against that. So I'm going to end the turn. And hopefully we'll build that unit in Elistadian, which will give us the 500 gold coins to complete. So unfortunately it didn't actually work. So you've only got 1 turn to complete that mission, so it's not going to happen. So instead of waiting around, we're going to send our units down to Alimir. Let's get them combined, and then we're going to attack. So that's about 7 to 7. We get better troops. It's almost equal. We do have a 5-star general though. Let's see what he's got. Okay, peasant axemen. They're average. Archers are pretty poor. Peasant spearmen, okay. Woodsmen, haven't actually came across woodsmen yet. This is effective against armour. Combat bonus in woods and snow, good stamina. They could be a bit of a threat to my sword Quendi. These guys have fairly good defense. They've got good armor, good defense skill. So their settlement's actually discontent. Imladris. King Ladus. But another archer in. Actually, how much is that going to cost? It's 480. Okay, build the roads. Okay, we're going to actually, instead of building the archer, I'm going to build some paved roads. And this will give me a lot more money per turn. So if you build roads, really good for your economy. One of the first things you actually build in any Total War game. So we're going to build, not going to build the archer, we're going to build the roads. And then on the next turn, then I'll start building the... I should just build it right now, actually. I forgot that Medieval 2 is actually different from other Total War games in the sense that you can stack up buildings and not actually pay for them until later on. Do you build here anything? Farming, Forlond. Okay, let's start building the economy a bit better. And if we can, build some more units as well. So I've got the diplomat as well. I forgot about that. Let's send the diplomat up to the dwarves. And let's make some sort of trade agreement with the dwarves. So we're fairly close to the dwarves in the settlements. They own a lot of settlements up in the mountain areas, obviously because they're dwarves. They're meant to be good at mining. They like jewellery, like gold, expert craftsmen. So we'll make the trade alliance with the dwarves. We've already allied with the free peoples of Iradior. So even though the High Elves, if you look at the way that the starting settlements are, you've got some settlements here as well. Okay, that's not very good, but when you consider all your allies, all your friends are in this area, it's not actually that bad at all. We can have actually pretty good trade. It's only really this kind of area, possibly. You've got the orcs of the Gundabad. They're fairly powerful. And Rivendell's a bit exposed with the Misty Mountains. But not too bad on the whole. The High Elves, you do get pretty good economy, good units, but you can't really recruit units too fast. So we're going to end that turn there. We're going to let the sequence plays out. Obviously it's going through all the different factions there. Again, that's just saying mission failed. We weren't able to bolster the defences of Elistarion. But it was only 500 gold coins. It wasn't really a large amount of money. I mean, it would have been good to get that, but not the end of the world. So basically we've got 4 turns to wait before the settlement falls. It's a 5-star general. How many archers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's just attack. Okay, I'm fairly confident I can win this. We do have the advantage according to the computer, 5 to 4. He is a 5-star general. He will have a horse as well. So let's attack this. So again, it's quite easy just to sit back and just let your economy build up. And that's probably, I mean, don't overspend, but then if you look at the long picture of a campaign, you want to be very aggressive at the start, because when the AI starts getting a lot of units, it makes your life a lot harder. Okay, let's do this properly. Loose formation. Get these guys. And let's start the battle. So we're going to move forward the archers. And the thing about Medieval Total War, you don't have to worry about these sort of things, the towers. You only have to worry about them if a unit is actually standing there. So they have to be manned. So we're going to charge forward the archers. Try and get as many kills as we can. Let's try and find the general. Where's the general? Just some of the archers there. So I think the general should be on horseback. Or it'll be like a bodyguard unit. Okay, we're going to man the ram and try and break down one of the walls. Let's go for this one. So I think that's the general right there actually. He's amongst Axemen unit. So he's a 5-star general. So that's kind of beneficial for us because those guys only have an axe. It looks like they've got some sort of padded armour. They don't have a shield. They're going to be a bit susceptible to arrow fire. So because we're battering down the walls, he's probably going to come out to attack us. Put these guys over here. And that's the arrows firing in versus the peasant axemen. So that's the no eternal warriors. The rest of my elven bowmen are going to start raining down death quite soon. So they're going to get some good side run shots there. He's not bringing forward any archers, he's just bringing forward his axemen. So again, it's just the AI being an idiot. I'm going to pull back my sword quindy, get these guys safe. I'm going to do as much damage as we can with the archers. And again, keep it on triple speed. Not really too much point in playing this at regular speed. Again, just want to get as much damage as we can. So how many axemen? I'm kind of thinking about whether I should charge in, kill these units and save the arrows. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's do one volley of flaming arrows. Actually, so is that the general? So I'm going to actually just shoot that unit there. That's actually a woodsman. I thought that was a militia skirmishing unit. Move these guys over here. Let's get some better shots in versus the woodsman. So they're getting absolutely destroyed by the archers. And then I'm going to send in the sword quindy and the linden long spears. We're going to get the fast route on these units. If anyone comes down here to support them, they're going to get annihilated. Oops, wrong button there. So I'm going to pull back the Sword Quendi and the Linden Long Spears. We're going to try and get some better shots in versus the archers. And because he's so bunched up, he's going to be a lot more susceptible to damage than me. He's getting a bit of cover from the top of the gate actually. But he will be taking a lot of damage. That's the general unit. So that's the guy that needs to die. That unit right there. So I think we're going to triple speed this again. So we are taking a bit of damage from that unit there. They're down to 26. We're going to just charge and attack the peasant spearmen. We've got the advantage here. Anyone who comes down here to attack or support. Let's try and get a shot in versus the woodsman. That's the general right there. So they're coming down to support the peasant spearmen. And hopefully we can get some good side-on shots. They're down to 42 in strength. So let's get the outflank on that unit. That might actually spook them and rout them. So they must be on the verge of routing. There's no way they can hold it much longer. So the general's down to 31. They're like half strength. They're down to 30. And that's basically, they would have routed before now. It's just the fact that the general's 5 stars. And that is them routing. So there's not really too much left, to be honest. So we're going to get these guys into tight formation. Are they still getting shot by the archers? Yeah, they're still getting shot. Although they're just down to 18. I think there's actually 2 units there. One's 18. This looks like there's more than 18 units there. Or 18 troops. I'll see if I can get a couple more shots in there. So if we can get a couple more shots in there, maybe reduce that unit down to 29 or 28. But I think it's probably too late for that now. Not really much more we can do. We're just going to charge in everything and try and get the win. So we're going to send in our best troops first. We're going to send in the Sword Quendi and the Linden Long Spears. Because once the general dies, everything else kind of dies as well. But to be honest, his army's pretty much finished. So we're going to go for the outflank. He has an advantage in the fact that the axemen have a double attack against armor. So we're going to use the archers. The archers are actually inferior troops, but when you use them to outflank, and it says here defeat is certain, they're only down to 26. So the axemen are getting pressed. They're not being given the space to attack. So many elven troops. We're got the Linden long spears around the back. They're attacking the archers. The Axemen are down to 7, so they're on the verge of routing. The archers are still firing, so we're going to charge forward the long spears, try and stop the archers firing, and that's the general died. No, that's the building captured. So the general's almost about to die. He is right there. Looks like he's going to go down. Just have to defeat the archers, and that's going to be a win for our side. That's the enemy general has just died. All we got to do now is charge in everything and capture the settlement. I just got to defeat the last of the woodsmen, and that'll be game over and a win for our side. So there's a clear victory there. Yeah, we lost more troops than last time, lost about 50 troops. Killed a lot more enemy, but we got a lot of men remaining, and that's going to help us later on in the battles when we fight Isengard in this sector. So we're going to continue this, and like before, we're going to exterminate the population and start building some quality buildings that will help the economy. Because you don't have to worry about too many attacks up here, but over here you're a lot closer to the borders, a little bit more susceptible to getting attacked. So we're going to repair the walls, that's the first thing. And like to build the dirt roads, but we can't really afford that, it's going to have to wait for another turn. But anyway, I'm going to conclude this Let's Play episode 1. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed the series so far, you've enjoyed the battles, the whole Lord of the Rings experience. Again, it's a really good mod. If you haven't already played, there's actually Orc Army right there. If you haven't already played Lord of the Rings 3rd Age, definitely give it a go. It's an epic mod, really well done. All the time and effort the creators have gone into the detail of the units. Very, very impressive. But anyway, thanks for watching. As always, if you haven't already, like, comment and subscribe to my channel. This is Piper signing off.